Hello, and welcome to the channel. This is my first video here. Something you should know about me is that I love video essays. Watching multi-hour long videos instead of sleeping. The life. I've watched enough videos to make a good top 10 list. Let's go. Big Joel's video on the record-breaking show Beast Games is amazing. Beast Games faced a lot of controversy because of poor conditions and a ton of sexual harassment backstage. This video is not about that. It's just an entertaining video of Big Joel, and man with a great personality and is very funny, review every single game in the Beast Games. It will be one of the most entertaining things you would have watched in weeks. I don't want to repeat creators, so I will also recommend his channel. He did a great video about conservative comedy too. Games is a game show created by Mr. Beast. As Big Joel stated in his video, Beast's most viewed video on his channel is Squid Games in Real Life Challenge. Squid Games is a fictional game show where people fight to the death to be part of the 1%. Mr. Beast created a game show with a prize that is $5 million. This game show was bad, and Big Joel explains why.
Beast Games. I'm interested in the games.
Funky Frog Bait's video on trad wives gives more insight on the topic of trad wives more than your average Redditor. A trad wife is short for traditional wife, as in a wife who stays at home doing all the housework and taking care of children all by herself while the husband works, usually getting married at a young age. On the internet, trad wives are seen as these evil anti-feministic figures. Instead of demonizing trad wives, Funky Frog humanizes them. They also used to live in a household that followed extreme Christian moral system, so they have a lot of credibility. Funky Frog also had a lot of other good videos. They made a great video on last year's discussion about the man versus bear situation. Many women were asked, would you rather stuck in the woods with a bear or a random man? Most women said man. But why? Todd in the Shadows. A esteemed music reviewer. Edgar Winter, a great musician. El Honubah, a cult leader. Edgar Winter and Ron made an album together, and it was one of the most obscure pieces of music ever made. Though Todd in the Shadows did make an important video essay about James Somerton, I'd like to talk about his best piece of music reviewing media. Todd has a series on his channel called Train Records, and on this series, they cover great artists' flop albums that ruined their career. Usually these videos are about 10 to 20 minutes. This one is 40 minutes. He went through great efforts to find info on this album, and boy did he. Todd talks about every song and the story of the creation of the album. Todd also had a lot of other great videos. One of his best videos is about the one-hit wonder, Rockwell.
One thing. Through the 70s, he had a prolific and eclectic output that spans his solo records, his two separate bands, the Edgar Winter Group and Edgar Winter's White Trash, collaboration albums with his brother Johnny, and with
Defunctland's History of the Disney Fast Pass asks you the question, what do you really know about lines? When Disney Theme Park just opened, the biggest complaint was the lines. Having to wait in the hot sun for hours seems miserable. So, somewhere along the line, Disney created a free line cutting system called FastPass. Then, as time went, something shocking happened. You're going to have to watch the video to find out. Defunctland had a lot of other great videos. His video on the Garfield Dark Ride is a very cool video about another failed attraction.
Rate is the rate at which people arrive to the queue. Speed up the service, and the wait time decreases. Increase the arrival rate, and the wait time increases. At its core, this is all a line is. How fast do people get in line, and how fast do they get out? But in any real-world scenario, queues become anything but simple, and there's no better showcase of this complexity than the Disney parks. Disney is world famous not only for their wait times, but for the bold strategies that
If we are on the topic of video essays about Disney's greed, then I can also heavily recommend Jenny Nicholson's video on the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser. One of Disney's most daring, expensive, and least profiting business ventures was a Star Wars-themed hotel. The hotel wasn't supposed to just be a hotel, it was supposed to be an experience. You were supposed to stay at the hotel for strictly 2 days and play role-play games in your own Star Wars story. This experience costed an ass load of money. Jenny Nicholson, an influencer who makes most theme park, Disney, and other pop culture-related content, visited this hotel before it closed. Trust me, this video is going to make you hate Poles. She also made another great video about the unsuccessful theme park Evermore and about her visit there.
Everything almost down to the minute. You're better off thinking of it as a summer camp. Space camp, if you like. Or if you're sort of nerdy, you can think of it as LARP.
JXI would definitely be the smallest creator I'm covering, but she is one of the greatest of all time. Her video on Chibnall Era Doctor Who is one of the best on the whole platform. For 5 hours straight, JXI tears apart the Chibnall era of Doctor Who, pointing out false logic, horrible character writing, and bad continuity. You can obviously see the amount of time and effort put into the project. JXI loved Doctor Who since she was a child, and now she has a bone to pick with it. Being that Jay is one of my favorite creators on the platform, I recommend you watch all of her content, especially her 3-part video on Brickleberry.
In 1989, it went on a long hiatus with only about 1 million pieces of extended media and a movie we don't talk about to fill the gap, before it finally came back in 2005. Over the years, it's been handed down from creative team to creative team. Today, we're going to be focusing on the work of the current creative team behind the show, led by showrunner Chris.
I'm not joking when I say YMS's video on Kimba, the White Lion, is a very important piece of internet history. Shortly after Disney's Lion King came out, a lot of people started noticing similarities between it and a manga called Kimba, the White Lion. Then, it became a known fact that Lion King was a ripoff of Kimba, the White Lion. YMS is an online movie critic who talks about bad movies. While making a video about the 2019 Lion King, he did a little bit of research on Kimba. Then he did a lot of research, and it turns out Kimba is not a ripoff, and the series itself is weird. This video changed the internet. I recommend this and YMS a lot.
Largely inspired by Disney films like Bambi and Dumbo, and that inspiration wound up leading to the design of large and expressive eyes in his works that are now commonplace in anime today. Tezuka was very open about where his inspirations came from and how it influenced his works, and this is partially why the Lion King controversy picked up so much steam. Tezuka actually passed away in early 1980.
Line Goes Up is an excellent video if you don't know what an NFT is and want to learn more. NFTs are a type of cryptocurrency which has an image file attached to it in simple form. But the idea of the NFT was train wreck to begin with, and Dan Olson does such a great job talking about it. Starting at 2008, when the economy collapsed, and ending at 2021, absolutely great video. I also recommend Dan's video on Nostalgia Critics The Wall, the most popular video on that subject.
Is a
Now, I've heard of the slash him sorry John community, but I thought it was just shit posting. But no, it was so much more. Starting at the old internet days, talking about Lasagna Cat, and then transitioning into the greatest piece of fan art of all time. In just under an hour, Super Eye Patchwolf deconstructs a whole fandom. He shows to you how much Garfield is in pop culture, and there might be a hidden message in Garfield. He talks about the YouTube channel Lasagna Cat, which created one of the most disgusting videos in all of YouTube. I won't spoil too much. I highly recommend you watch this video, and his video on Nathan Fielder.
I've been covering fandoms for a little while now, and what I enjoy about doing this is how when you stare at a fandom long enough, you begin to get this very distorted yet very honest reflection of its source material, the heart of
Bomber Guy's plagiarism and YouTube video is the second piece of YouTube history. In the first couple of hours of the video, Bomber Guy exposes 4 different YouTubers for plagiarism, including the angry video game nerd and internet historian. This part of the video is very well done and very well researched. It's shocking to see what might go through the mind of a plagiarist when they do what they do. After those 4 segments comes the main course of the video.
Than historians or journalists or anyone else with a real job, and that's gay people. You know what's worse than stealing from established journalists who in the end are doing okay? Stealing from small queer writers or creators from marginalized groups who weren't even paid for their work in the first place. Stealing from the writings of dead people who passed away doing the activism you pretend to do. Stealing from the very people who fund your videos, the people you claim to be defending. This video is about James Somerton.